My first real heartbreak came from a person I never even met in real life. After 2 years of talking almost every single day, they just disappeared without saying even one word. My name is Mia, and this whole thing started with a random Roblox lobby. Not a super deep moment, not fireworks, just me joining a game after homework and landing in a server with a player called Starry Luca. At first, he was just another username. That did not last very long. The game was a big school roleplay thing. Everyone was running around spamming emotes and starting drama. I was playing as this pastel girl with angel wings, and I remember his avatar walked up to mine and typed, "Wanna sit together at lunch?" It was such a small thing. But that tiny chat bubble was where everything began. We ended up staying in that server for hours. Sitting on the fake cafeteria benches, doing classes, joking about how everyone else was acting wild. He was funny but not mean, which felt rare. When I had to go, he typed add and send a friend request. I hit accept so fast. That was the easy part. The hard part came way later. After that day, it turned into a routine without even planning it. I would log on, and he would already be there or the other way around. Sometimes we played obbies, sometimes horror games, sometimes just dressed our avatars and talked. It went from hey lol to how was school so quickly. That shift was the first sign this was not just a random teammate. We started talking outside Roblox. First in the app chat, then on another messaging app. He sent pictures of his cat sleeping on his laptop. I sent pictures of my drawings and the storm outside my window. He lived in another country, like hours and hours away by plane. Different time zone, different language at school, everything. But somehow it felt closer than people who sat right next to me. Little by little, the jokes turned into real conversations. He told me how his dad was never home because of work. I told him how my parents argued a lot, and I pretended not to hear. He told me he wanted to be a game dev one day. I told him I wanted to do art, but was scared of failing. It felt like both hearts were sitting on the same screen. He was the first person who ever saw me cry live on camera. One night I had a really bad day at school. Some girls made fun of my clothes and called me palette girl because I reuse outfits. I joined our call already trying not to cry. I failed. He did not laugh, did not say it was nothing. He just listened. That was when my feelings started changing. I did not call it a crush at first. It just felt like warmth. Like every time my phone buzzed, there was this tiny spark in my chest. When he said, "Good night, Mia," it hit different than anyone else saying it. I could hear his typing pattern and guess his jokes before he sent them. It was all cute and harmless. Until it was not harmless anymore. One night, we were in a quiet Roblox game, just sitting on a bench watching some fake sunset. Everything was orange and soft. He typed, "Can I tell something kinda weird?" My heart instantly started pounding. I stared at my screen for what felt like 10 years, then just typed, "Okay." That one word changed everything. He said he liked me. Not just as a friend. Not just as someone to play with. Like properly like. He said he thought about me at random times in class. He said hearing my laugh made his day better. I just sat there, hands shaking over the keyboard, because I felt exactly the same. But that was not the scary part. Typing "I like you too" was the bravest and most terrifying thing I had ever done. My fingers were literally trembling. I stared at the sentence for so long, then hit send and covered my face. When his "really" popped up with like 5 question marks, I started laughing and crying at the same time. It was so ridiculous and so real. That was the night we decided we were together. Being together, long distance when both people are still in school is weird. There are no actual dates, no real meetups, no holding hands at lunch. There are shared playlists, Roblox dates, video calls where both people fall asleep on camera. There are good morning and good night texts in 2 different time zones. It felt like carrying a secret made of light. Until that light started to flicker. We planned everything for one day. One day, when we were older, we would meet. One day, we would save money for plane tickets. One day, we would walk in a real park instead of a pixel one. We even counted down to when we would both be allowed to travel alone. Those plans felt almost as real as the walls in my room. That is what made what happened later so painful. For a long time, he never missed a call. Even tired, even busy, he would show up. Then slowly, things started changing. First it was double blue tick seen, but no reply for a few hours. Then it was sorry, fell asleep, the next day. Then it was got a lot of homework, talk later. Later sometimes never happened. I told myself it was just school. Exams, extra classes, maybe problems at home he did not want to talk about. Every time he vanished for a bit, he always came back with some explanation. And I always believed him. Because that is what trust feels like. Until it suddenly is not there anymore. One Saturday, we planned a big Roblox movie night. We had picked the game, the outfits, the snacks. I cleaned my whole room, put my favorite hoodie on, set my laptop up like it was some fancy cinema. I waited in the lobby, watched his username show online, and then go offline again. No message. No sorry, something came up. Just like that. I refreshed my messages. Nothing. I checked our chat on every app. Nothing. I thought maybe his Wi-Fi died. Maybe his parents took his phone. Maybe he got sick. I fell asleep with my laptop open, staring at the empty game. That was the first night I felt this weird tightness in my chest. The next day, still nothing. No, hey, my bad. No, are you awake? His Roblox status disappeared, and his little green dot was just gone. I tried to stay calm, but this cold feeling started creeping up my arms. Something felt off. And then it got worse. When I opened my friends list, his username was not there. At first, I thought it was a glitch. I refreshed again and again. Nothing. I checked our chat. His profile picture had changed to a gray default. When I tried to open our messages, an error popped up. It took a second for my brain to realize what that meant. I had been removed. Not just unfriended. Blocked. I checked the other apps. On one of them, our chat was just gone. On another, messages could not be delivered anymore. It felt like someone had taken scissors to the last 2 years and just cut them in half. No warning. No goodbye. That night was the first time I had a panic attack. I did not even know that was what it was at first. My hands would not stop shaking, my heart was racing so fast, and it suddenly felt like breathing through a straw. Tears would not stop coming, but my eyes hurt. My chest felt heavy and empty at the same time. It was honestly one of the scariest moments of my life. My mom knocked on my door and asked if I was okay. I said I had a stomach ache, because saying, my Roblox boyfriend blocked me and now I feel like I am dying, sounded too ridiculous. But inside, that is exactly how it felt. It was not just a game friend. It was 2 years of secrets, late nights, and I love you messages. Being cut off from that hurt worse than anything anyone at school had ever said. Days turned into weeks. No message. No explanation. I checked his profile so many times my eyes hurt, but it stayed gray and empty. I searched his name in random games, like maybe he had changed it. Nothing. Every night, I cried until my pillow got cold and then warm again. And every morning, it was still the same. People noticed something was off. My best friend at school asked why I was so quiet. Some kids made fun of me for always staring at my phone. One boy found out I had an online boyfriend and laughed so loudly it echoed down the hallway. Imagine crying over a person from a game, he said. I laughed it off in front of them. I cried even harder later. My grades started dropping. I would sit in class and hear the teacher's voice like background noise, like the volume got turned down. My hands would start shaking randomly. Sometimes my heart would rush out of nowhere, and I would feel like I needed to escape. Twice, I had to ask to go to the bathroom just to sit in a stall and try to breathe. Everything felt like static. I stopped playing Roblox for a while. Every game reminded me of him. Every lobby felt wrong without his avatar popping up next to mine. I would open the app, stare at my character, and then close it again. It felt like losing someone, and losing a whole world at the same time. That was so awful for me. Months passed. Not days, not weeks. Months. The silence stayed. My brain came up with 1,000 reasons. Maybe his parents took his phone forever. Maybe something bad happened in real life and he could not come online. Maybe he just did not care anymore. That last one was the hardest to think about. One night, after almost half a year, I downloaded Roblox again properly. Updated everything, changed my avatar clothes, tried to act normal. I told myself I was just going to play and not think. I joined one of our old favorite games, a cozy hangout map with lights and soft music. It felt like walking into an abandoned house. Until I saw a name that made my whole body freeze. In the player list, there was a username that looked so familiar, but not exactly the same. Instead of Starry Luca, it said Luca Starry. My heart started beating so loudly I could hear it. I clicked the profile. The avatar looked almost exactly like his. Same hair, same jacket, same weird little accessory he always wore. It had to be him. My hands were shaking so hard, I could barely hit the chat button. I was about to type something when I saw his status. Just one single sentence. Taking a break from old stuff, please do not DM. It was like getting hit in the stomach and brain at the same time. He was online. He was alive. He had a new account. A new life, new friends, new everything. And I was not part of old stuff anymore. The worst part was knowing he could have typed just one message. One single word. But he chose not to. I stood there, avatar frozen in the game, watching his character run around with other people. Laughing in chat, sending emotes, doing exactly what we used to do. The server felt so loud and so silent at the same time. I typed his name just once. Luca. The message sent. He never responded. I wondered if he had me blocked there too. Or if he saw it and just ignored it. That thought made my chest hurt even more. Eventually, I left the game without saying anything. When I closed my laptop, my reflection looked like a ghost. That was the moment I realized I was not waiting for a text anymore. I was waiting for a person who no longer existed in my world. The panic attacks did not stop immediately. Sometimes at night, my heart would start racing out of nowhere, and I would feel that same tiny room feeling, like the walls were coming closer. Even months later, random songs or words he used to say would make my eyes sting. It was like grief, but invisible. Everyone could see it was just an online thing. No one could see how real it had been. Little by little, life started filling in the empty spaces. I made a new friend in art club. I started drawing my Roblox avatar again, but this time alone, in different worlds. I played new games with new people and did not always think of him. Some days still hurt more than others. But there were also days when it did not hurt at all, and that surprised me. Sometimes, when I am in a Roblox lobby and see two avatars sitting on a bench together for a long time, I feel this weird mix of sadness and hope. Sadness, because I remember how it felt when everything fell apart with no explanation. Hope, because deep connections are possible, even through a screen. Even if they do not always last. My story does not end with a big apology from him. There was no, "I am sorry, I was scared" message. No long call where everything got wrapped up nicely. The last time I saw his avatar was that night in the Hangout game. Running around with new friends while my message stayed ignored. That silence became my answer. The part that stays with me the most is not even losing him. It is the way one person, who never even stepped into the same room as me in real life, could make my heart feel so full, and then so empty. It showed how real feelings can be, even when they exist between screens and pixels. And how breaking that trust, suddenly and without a word, can shatter something deep inside. Now, when I log into Roblox, I still remember the cat pictures, the storm stories, the late-night calls. They are part of my history, like old screenshots in a folder. I do not open that folder every day anymore. But it is still there. It will probably always be there. Sometimes, sitting alone in a new game, I think about how everything started with one tiny chat bubble asking to sit together at lunch. How something so small turned into the biggest feeling of my life so far. And how it ended with nothing at all. Just silence. That is the strangest thing about long-distance love, even for kids. It needs so much trust to exist at all. And when that trust breaks without a reason, it does not just feel sad. It feels like the whole world glitched and no one can patch it. At least not right away. But even though the ending still hurts sometimes, it did something to my heart. It showed me how deeply it can care. How real online connections can become. And how, even after being left with no explanation, that same heart can slowly, quietly start to heal again. Even if the person who broke it never comes back.